Yeah, absolutely. MIS is an information organizing technology, and in well-designed systems, what you're able to do, even if it's something as simple as avoiding redundant data entry, you're saving labor. People whose job is doing some task in the organization, if they can reduce their effort in data entry, in data retrieval, or data analysis, especially for performing recurring transactions. You move again. You take that mundane aspect of the job and remove it from them, and you leave them free to concentrate on the intellectual aspect of the job or the creative aspect of the job. So absolutely. Another thing that MIS does, if you build a transaction processing system that really is, let's say for example, it just helps you to record sales and calculate totals and record payments. The result of that is a repository of data that can then be mined in some very creative ways. When do you sell the most canned tuna? Is it on Tuesdays? Is it in March? Is it when you also are selling the most saltine crackers? I don't know, but you've got this repository of data that people can now analyze to see implications about their operations that might not be obvious. And so everything from marketing analysis to the actual knowing when you have to reorder, rather than in the old days, how did you know? You had to go around and count things, and so you now just one task of recording information associated with one transaction can now multiply its benefits throughout the organizational processes. So absolutely. And through a number of mechanisms. Yeah, it does, because you're recording data, and you're able to then do often fairly simple statistical analysis. If you can trace problems to some common root, because you know where the components, if you're doing a production batch of a product that you're manufacturing, for example, and you have a higher level of failure in this batch, and then you know for that batch, where did you get each component? And when you realize that you're having failures and it's highly correlated to components from this manufacturer, or perhaps from this batch from a particular manufacturer, whereas before you just didn't have the ability to record that, and therefore to perform the analysis of those correlations, of those relationships. And so because we're able to ease data entry, we're able to store the data, and then once it's stored, we can analyze it till the cows come home, and again, tease out those relationships. To prepare yourself for this career, there's lots of ways you can study computers in colleges and universities. In computer science, you learn a lot of specific technologies, but they're more internally focused to the machine and the machine's processes. You can study, some schools have programs in information technology where you learn a lot of programming of different sorts. But MIS, usually called Management Information Systems, sometimes Computer Information Systems, but whatever it's called, if you find it in the business school, that's the program where you learn to blend organizational processes with the information technologies, and how the information technologies improve the processes, increase revenues, lower costs, or allow the organization to extend into new lines of business or new ways of doing business, new marketing channels. One of the cool things about MIS is that you get to let that inner geek that you may have out, because you're dealing with technologies, yet you're dealing with people as well. And so you you sit down with clients. Clients don't understand what you do. They don't understand the engineering of an efficiently designed database. It's easier for you to understand their process and for you to communicate with them than for them to learn how to do this. And so you have to learn, you deal with people, you deal with organizational problems, you get to constantly be solving problems, you get to constantly show people how smart you are, and you communicate. Those are hugely important skills. But then you get to take out the technology toys and play with them and actually make the problem come to life, and then go back and put on a magic act and show them what you were able to do with this intractable problem they had, and that's a very valuable skill, being able to blend those things together. So anybody who thinks they've got that interest in problem solving, if you've got a good head for math, if you like to communicate, and you can dress well, and you just look as good as I do, this can be the field for you, and I encourage you to pursue it. There's jobs out there for sharp people.